sorry, I was just chasing a cat out of the room because the room, by the way, that I am sharing with a rolling cart covered in fringe that is going to be used as a prop for summer's show. But we have to hide it in my office because if we don't, all the fringe that she spent so much time putting on it, on the base around it, because it's for a dance show she's doing, will be torn off by the cats. So, and of course, as soon as I get in here and I'm setting up to join you guys, happy Friday, by the way, welcome to HAL Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide. Chip is in here. Underneath it, like he thinks I didn't see him come in. He's underneath that cart and just looking at the tassels, going, nope. So I had to make a choice today, and I'm sorry, between Chip and the cart won, but just barely, because Summer needs it to not be destroyed because she spent so much time working on it last night. So, yeah, he was like hunched down underneath it, like they'll never know I'm here. Just brilliant. Welcome to the morning show. Glad you could be with us. You know, this is a more relaxed show, even though these are not relaxed times, let's just say. I was thinking at one point that because of all the craziness in the world and the sort of silliness at the same time with like the trucker convoy and all that kind of shit, that it was like two universes traveling, two galaxies traveling through the universe had kind of collided like this and started fusing together. And one of them was very dangerous and very serious, dealing with very serious topics. And the other one was absolutely ridiculous and a total non sequitur. And they just overlapped at some point. Like we collided with, this sort of Reese's peanut butter cup of the sublime and the ridiculous. And then after I wrote that, I tried to think of a time in history when it would not feel like that. Does that make sense? I tried to think of a time in 3,000 years of recorded human history, approximately 5 or so, depending on whose clock you believe. Where thinking people in relatively stable societies at different points didn't have that exact feeling. Does that make sense? Anyway, so good morning, everybody. I'm just getting philosophical right out of the gate this morning. That's I'm feeling it. Sometimes that's what it takes. I've decided also that since I'm leaving, I have all these morning interviews to do these days on other stuff. So I've been leaving my green screen up for the morning show, which of course keeps me from having to straighten the shelf behind there, which is a mess right now, and which is nice. But I think I need a different background for the morning show, so I will be making that. And then I'm going to be, because next week is spring break for my kid, we're going to be visiting the grandparents the better part of next week in Kentucky, and so I will be doing the show from there. So it'll give me time to just throw some stuff up. I don't know how excited my dad will be to have a green screen put up in his office in his house, but hey, that's life. So, and by green screen, I mean going to Michael's and buying 6 pieces of green poster board and doing my best. So, yeah. I spent 4 years repeating what the fuck. Today it's daily eye rolls for the insanity. Yeah, I mean, again, there's something to this idea that you can recognize the through line in history in what we're experiencing right now, that humanity itself, while it is absolutely making vast amounts of progress, is still doing it with the same tools. Psychologically, psychospiritually, we're still trying to build a rocket ship with a stone hammer, emotionally and intellectually, if you know what I mean. So the human brain has not changed in any measurable way in 100,000 years. And it, like as many of you have seen my simulation argument that we live in a simulation, and a currently ridiculous one that apparently is on the fritz. I think right now the sim we live in is experiencing a DDoS. That's what I think. I think our sim has been hacked, and the sky is about to start blinking, and there'll be like a voice over like, "You're all living in a simulation." Somebody's going to push them out of the way and going, "Asshole, they know. They paid for this simulation. Get out of the way." You can get a few yards of green fabric, easier to carry. That's right. But it also wrinkles, Spicy Dragon. So I have considered that. So I'm going to make a trip to Michael's today, actually, to see if I can do that. But a multiverse would be a different kind of theory, that there's every decision you make spawns another universe where you said yes, where every time you said no, it stayed here, and yes happened over there, or vice versa, or it follows your primary consciousness, and then a secondary element of your consciousness chases off every possible variation that you could have made over the course of your life, creating this spider of possibilities that are, and basically the res as you go idea that we experience in playing video games, meaning that the universe only reses out where you look in a video game. If you're running around behind you, if you turn around, it'll be there, but it's not there until you turn around. The Schrodinger's cat of the entire universe, in that regard, is a consciousness-based concept, where you create the universe as you go, what your experience of it, not for everyone else. And everybody else has these variant multiverses going on, and whenever there can be an overlap, there is a major CERN malfunction. You think that's the version of it? That's what caused it. That's the let's see, what was that? The running through this, going back. Yes, the multiverse has a butterfly effect. Sort of. The butterfly effect is more that there is a single universe, and every little thing affects one piece of it, right? Like so. No, none of it can be disconnected. A multiverse idea would be that butterfly flaps its wings, and in one version of events, that flap causes a hurricane in New York, and in another version, it ripples through time and causes somebody to trip and fall and spill their coffee, which leads somebody to drive their truck off of a cliff, and that it gets wedged in a hole, which later on creates a gas vent that ultimately leads to a volcanic eruption in Africa. Like that kind of stuff, like where everything's chained together, and it's so finely chained that nothing avoids its experience. It would be the butterfly effect in a singular note. In a multiverse, everything would spider off into all kinds of stuff, to the point of sort of ad absurdum, where every literal flap of the wings creates a different reality. That's a bit much. And I think it's much closer to, philosophically speaking, and boy, we're diving in quick this morning. Philosophically, the butterfly effect, if you took it to its absurd conclusion, that every impact creates an impact, and that impact creates a breakaway version, that you'd have kind of like a kaleidoscoping of realities that would, like you see in a Doctor Strange movie. And so when you're talking about material reality and the rules of physics and all that kind of stuff, the energy needed to do that would be absurd. But as a potential in a computer program, it would require none. So that's why the simulation argument kind of holds water in some form or fashion, even if it's just like we're only finding stuff on Mars because we can look now, that kind of idea. That it was basically 8-bit, and then it became 16, and then 32, 64, and now it's 4K, and eventually it'll be 8K because we'll be standing there. That's yeah. I am very sleepy. I got up this morning, and like, for whatever reason, I don't know what's causing it. My eyes are very dry this morning. So if I come across sleepy, that's why. Also, I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday, and so I was burning the midnight oil, as it were. But it's also early. It's morning for me here, and I've been up since I had to feed Chip and chasing him all over the place. So yes, our cult is definitely moving to Mars. Yeah. people are reacting to Chip pictures. That's really sweet. Galovich Madim 40. Amazing picture, by the way. The Chip one. Give me a reason to live. Picture of me and Chip. Okay, thanks. That's like this. This is adorable. That's it. That's so funny. So I would have Chip in here, but he's apparently he can't be trusted around the shiny new rack we just made for the show. So Summer's doing a dance number that she and her partner are choreographing. Jamie, they're choreographing this bit where girls are dancing on and off one of these like rolling garment racks from a hotel. And which, by the way, when I first met Summer, she was in a magic show, and they had a similar number that she choreographed for that show. Anyways, this one themed works with that, so they got a garment rack, this thing right here, which is on wheels, as you can tell. And she put, like, instead of just having crap carpet on the bottom of it, she put really nice fabric and tassels around it to make it like a show version, you know, and then spray painted it gold and that kind of thing. And so my room smells like paint, but also it's, you know, it's really nice, and it's not done yet, and Chip would tear it to pieces. So Chip would be in here, but he would be wrecking all the work. Thanks, nice rack. It's so sweet, people would say that. Oh, I'm sparkly like right now. Look at it. Look at my shoulder. Yeah, because that's the leftover from the stupid green screen thing the other day. All right, hold on. Filters. Nope, hold on. I see. Oh, that's the wrong one. I have to fix that. Filters. There we go. Edit filters. And then we gotta take this down a touch. There, that's green. There we go. That's a little better. And then do we smooth it? No, the smoothness is the problem. We need more of this. How is black, like, how is my black t-shirt got any, hold on. I have an idea. Don't do anything with this green screen, you meanies. Hold on. Chroma key, boink, add. Okay, hold on. I'm going to take this one out entirely. I know this will be a mistake. Oh, it's not even doing it right now. It just doesn't want, oh, it's freaking out. Look at that, it added 3. That's fun. All right, well, I'm totally rock solid now. Look at that. Cool. I guess. Well, no, there's still a bit of a seam. It's not too bad, though. Why would that be? What is going on? What is wrong with you? Okay, we'll take that one out because it's not necessary. We take this guy and we... All right, it's just being weird this morning, so I'll just have to live with it till I fix it again. What the heck? I just need a bigger green screen. That's the reality. Like, that's the, because I have a limit here. If I put my arm back, I could do this, but that's where it stops. I wish I had a real studio. Eventually. We never had problems like this on Talk Soup. They painted a whole wall psych. I guess I could do that in my garage. Don't get me started. I would do that, by the way, but it's freezing in winter here and blazing hot in the summer, which is all year except now. Here, so yep, 30.3. We are moving fast. Once we hit the 30,000 mark, thank you guys so much. The subscriber numbers are gaining ground faster, just like it happened when we hit 5,000. It was just a turning point in the algorithm. And thank you guys for reminding everybody to come watch the show. I appreciate it. It means a lot. All right, let's look at the trends. Let's check out the trendage for right now. See if I lean back. It seems like my camera is affecting this whole thing. Like I just need to be able to move. I need to move the whole desk back like that. The further I get away, but then yeah, all right. Oh yeah, this was fun. All right, first of all, the extra sanctions, and the U.S. just did some others. Oh, okay, okay. Ukraine's membership application is expressed. Oh yeah, they're gonna fast track their membership. It still takes work. Can everybody stop pretending you can do this in a week? Yes, and Biden's pressing for us to end normal trade relations with Russia. We should have done that a long time ago. I swear to God, I do not understand, other than the fact that I guess they have nukes, why Russia is on the UN Security Council. Since in a backdoor way for the better part of the 20th century, they have been responsible for the biggest security issues. Can I make a studio shed in the backyard? Yes, but I would have to, Tony, I would have to like ventilate it and air condition it, and that would be prohibitively expensive. So better to just hump along with the limitations I have. Bless you, patrons, for making even this part possible. And let's see, when there's 3,000 in chat, will you be able to talk to Hal still? I think so. I just saw it. So we'll slow it down, and I'll have special days set up, apparently. What'll happen is when we get that many people, we'll start dividing the show up into, you know, mornings and afternoons and that kind of stuff. I'll do my best. Yeah, keep your enemies closer is not, I mean, it's a cute phrase, but I don't know how much in my advancing wisdom and age I believe that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of trite phrases that sound great that haven't gotten a lot of scrutiny over time. And as a comedian, that's part of my job. If you'll know, like in Charmageddon, I go after a bunch of phrases like never say never and those kind of things. And I think keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I mean, maybe it works if you're a mobster or some shit, right? But in practicality, it's a terrible idea. If they're a genuine enemy, they can't be close. It's more like keep your friends close and your adversaries closer, because, you know, you want to manipulate them. Once they get to enemy status and they know it, right, there you go, Sasha. When are you coming to Sacramento too? When you're on, whoops, that goes by so fast. When will you run for office? This year. And when am I coming to Sacramento? I'm not sure, because we just did the San Francisco dates, and I would like to add Alameda and Sacramento to that very soon, so we're working on that. Right. Sleep with one eye open and have a serious case of dry eye. Right. Yeah, 550 people in the chat already, just for the morning show, just hanging out. By the way, there's also a big Biden bounce that's happening while all this is going on, because of the care and patience and thoughtfulness he's putting into this, and that he's not doing all this ready, fire, aim bullshit. So, so that's happening this morning. Tulsi, this story came out right after we did that clip in the show yesterday, and I was like, I literally finished the show and saw this story on the Daily Beast. Hilarious. So they just indicted this Russian agent, an unlicensed foreign agent, and for lobbying for pro-Kremlin policies. Only politicians this woman gave money to, Tulsi Gabbard. The only one. Now, I understand there's only 9 politicians in the United States of America. So, I mean, slim pickings. But it explains why she's just been kind of a hard runner against this stuff. Let's see. Russian asset. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dual Russian-American nationalist Elena Branson, also known as Elena Chernik, stands accused of illegally pushing pro-Russian policies in the United States for nearly a decade at the direction of top Kremlin officials without registering under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Now, according to a criminal complaint federal prosecutors filed this week in the Southern District of New York, but in all of her time lobbying for Russian goals, she gave money to just one candidate, one federal candidate. Maybe there's a local that maybe she could talk about that. Maybe there is more to that. But one federal candidate, Tulsi Gabbard. 2 donations to her presidential campaign. The filings took the donations and former just at $1 million hold on. She has $1 million condo in Central Park West. Again, Russian money weaved all in New York's real estate and London's real estate and Los Angeles real estate, and to some degree Seattle and San Francisco. And if you broom these fuckers out, and people who work for a living, who aren't oligarchical gangsters, who run, sidecar to a kleptocratic oil and gas mob, might be able to compete. That wouldn't be $1 million condo. It'd be a $500,000 condo, right? However, the merchant banker listed her occupation is not employed. It's amazing what you can get with Section 8 housing on the Upper West Side. Decades hold American citizenship, so contributions were legal. Let's see, combine the total clause, a whopping $50, $60. They do raise questions about why an alleged Russian agent tasked with currying favor would zero in on Gabbard and only Gabbard. Oh, she gave her $59.95. She bought a shirt so she could wear it when they met. Branson, who fled the United States last year, remains at large, has ties to Kremlin brass, and corresponded with Putin himself at the direction of Russia. Okay, so she's being indicted in absentiam. She hired an alleged Russian agent on her campaign and her Putin bank. Okay, who is that? The Russian asset and the warmonger, the roots of the Clinton-Gabbard dispute. It's about the dance. So you both called yourself Michael Hughes violator again. Cameron, you don't really trust your judgment, so we'll not be raising money for your campaign. Kive's a Hollywood agent, forwarded the email to Podesta. Hammer dropped. Gabbard responded to Trash Clinton as the queen of warmongers and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party, and then spent time running against her, and then it was enough to drive down votes and put Donald Trump in the White House. I was told she will never forget, Gabbard said Monday in an email referring to her endorsement of Sanders. Her rich and powerful friends in the media and Democratic Party will try to destroy me. All right. But I will beat them to it. You can't fire me. I quit. Yeah, I mean, we just saw her in Tucker. That's just funny. $59.95 for just, who knew she was such a cheap date? Yeah. I'm not. And then Kellyanne Conway. I did not see this, and I do mean not see this thing. Biden administration has a fact problem. That's adorable. We're playing the blame game and attacking its critics. Yeah, because we never did that in the. Yeah, irony was found dead tonight. What is this? Hold on.
And he has this way, Jen Psaki, of playing the blame and game, name and shame nonsense of Washington. But it would rely on the American people believing it. And they've lost credibility, not just in their message and their messengers. You know, Laura, I like to say the Democrats this administration doesn't have a messaging problem. They have a fact problem. And it is reflected in the polls. They've been in crisis.
Is it? Is it reflecting in the polls? I don't want to do an early drop of our regular show in this particular case, but that's why there's because the shadow of let's see, Biden bounce. Whoops! Oh, I typed in the wrong thing again. I do that sometimes. Beg your pardon. Yeah, that's is it really reflecting in the polls? You think? Is it? Yeah. With the president's poll numbers ticking up in recent days, even with gas prices, it's like they're aligned. Are feeling optimistic that a Biden rebound might last and that the party's midterm losses might not be so severe. Yeah, you mean because gas prices are going to come down later this year because everybody's going to overcompensate because we're wrenching the fucking steering wheel of the cruise ship so hard that it eventually overcorrects all the time? In 2017, calling Barack Obama articulate and clean at rallies. Party on Thursday became once more the hope of the rest. Well, I don't know what the fuck. This is what you're leading off with? He has come to rally his party as he did during the bleak midterm in 2010. And on Thursday, he came once more, this time with the hope of a reset. But we're in the strongest position we've been in months. Keeping the House, that's likely wishful thinking. Even if, I don't know, where the fuck you get I think it's a good time for momentum to shift. This is a lot of the talk about it. Show the polls. Why are the polls way down in here? There you go. There you go. Way down to the bottom. Like, he's a shitty talker and he's not that great. Great. Good work, Politico. And then you put way down in there, in the yeah but. You know, what do I tell you guys about the yeah buts? It's usually paragraph 3. In bigger cases like this, 5 or 7. It's always an odd paragraph, it seems. And if you go, that's, let's see, a moderate improvement in Biden's still weak public approval ratings. By the way, this puts his job approval at 45%, which is a point higher than Trump ever got. Ever. 45 never hit 45. Just so you know. Up 4 points in a week. Even incremental movement in Biden's public approval is significant, as the president's job rating is closely correlated with the party's performance in the midterms. And it's on its way up, kids. And people are recognizing that there's serious shit going on in the world. And inserious people shouldn't be in charge when that happens. And Biden is treating it like a serious person. Look at that. Biden, yeah. Despite these recent rises, the overall trend for Biden over his 14 months has been down. You assholes. After the honeymoon period, things went through where he was doing hard work, and it started to come back up because people realize it's hard work. Ta-da. A narrow majority, 51%, which went down again too. This is older too. We looked at this a couple weeks ago. They got a fact problem. We never had a fact problem. Just listen to Trump. Everything he says. Oh, good Lord. All right. This is, and I mean, this is becoming an increasingly large part of your social media diet. This would be the kale they keep adding to your plate of sifting through the bullshit. Yes. Yes, Biden has improved greatly, and Trump
Magoo
is not. In Missouri, this is about the, and let's see, which one? Yeah, the ectopic pregnancies. Yeah, so very bizarre. There you go. Let's see. The abortion was performed or induced or was attempted to be performed, induced in a woman who has an ectopic pregnancy. This is not a viable fetus, and it's more than likely going to kill the woman. This is Missouri saying women who can't make babies aren't women, and therefore it shouldn't exist. You're a broodmare, ladies, according to the Josh Hawley state. Or at least this is the attempt. They've introduced this. I'm going to guess, because it's a proposed law, that it's going to get chopped a bunch because of people pointing this out. But again, this is, it's sort of like they're taking a position about abortion that a lot of anti-drug groups take, in that if we take away the promise of like rehab or criminality from it, like that, we take away the fact that you can go to rehab or sending you to jail for it, then the only thing that keeps people from doing drugs is fear of death. And so therefore it's just a let them die bill. That's why they're against like needle exchanges and that, all that kind of stuff. That's why they're saying that Biden wants to hand out crack pipes, that whole nonsense, because they're trying to stop diseases being passed amongst people, because these are contagious diseases, whereas drug addiction is not technically a contagious disease. And these people showing up at clinics all over the place with hepatitis and all kinds of other stuff because they got it from sharing pipes or sharing needles and the like is it's an excess weight on our healthcare system and makes everything else more expensive because these people don't have insurance and the like. So maybe recognize where the problem starts and try to cut the weeds at the roots, as opposed to just spending all your money doing it. Yeah. Khloe Kardashian says that blaming women when men cheat is really hurtful. Huh? Who's blaming? Is somebody blaming her for that? Like, I've always been really hurtful to me. I've never quite understood that. Is this a straw man? Is this what? Yeah. Why are you lying, Jordan Woods? If you're going to try and save yourself by going public instead of calling me privately to apologize for listening, to be honest about your story. By the way, you're the reason my family broke up. Yikes. I mean, I would look more into this, but I honestly don't give a fuck. Sam Jackson is talking about Alzheimer's in this one, and I think it's because he's doing the series he's doing is talking about it and relating it to the storyline which happens. Yeah, this one, The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. I mean, it's nice to, honest to God, it's nice to see Samuel L. Jackson get some stuff he could really sink his teeth into. Rarely does that happen. A lot of times because he kind of, one of the reasons why Sam Jackson burst onto the scene when he did compared to other actors of his age and race and that fit the genres that he found himself in. One of the reasons why he stood out was because of his sort of bravado in his performance style. It was very it was like, it's the same thing. It was like Al Pacino's last wave over the last couple of decades without the first part. Like, if we never got to see Sam Jackson's work before that much, but when he got to the hoo-ha phase, not the hoo-ha phase, that's different. It's, he's been able to, that's what clicked. I remember I'd have to, I mean, the first thing I really loved him in was probably The Long Kiss Goodnight. I mean, I've seen him, in a bunch of stuff, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Pacino got this whole hoo-ah kind of thing going on, and that became what he was known for, is this kind of, I'm always yelling. And there was a little bit of Sam Jackson picking up that, that kind of style. I mean, hence the Chappelle Show sketch they did for Sam Jackson beer, that kind of stuff. And like a lot of actors that really find a niche that works for them and gets, and really ride a rocket of, like he has, of stylistically driven fame. After a while, it makes it hard for them to, break out of it until they get some age on them. And this is one of those areas, certainly. So I this is nice to see for him. I haven't watched it yet, but it came up on my feed, so it's definitely something I'm going to watch. So that's why he's trending, because he's promoting it. The Party of Treason. I'm Republicans, right? Official limited access to notes in the president's calls to some foreign leaders. Yeah, they're gonna do that. This is during. Is this the newest one? Oh, that's 2019. Okay, because the Biden administration had to hold back some stuff, but mainly out of respect for the world leaders that he was talking to, that were basically like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" to Trump. And they've got to play nice with them. So, oh yeah, here you go. This is the let's see. Yeah, Really American put this out about the Republicans that went to Russia on the 4th of July in 2018, and then all came back, giving Putin a rusty trombone. And all got reelected, by the way. Just saying, they're all still in office, those that were running during that time. Yeah, this is that story too. The weakness of the Biden administration. That's what drove him to do it. Daines, Thune, yeah, Kay Granger, Kennedy, right. This is a surprise to no one. Yeah, so that's what this is. So I recommend it if you're on Twitter, check that video out. It's on YouTube too, I believe. This was the old thing about like Cawthorn calling Zelensky a thug, which is again something that Jimmy Dore's guests have done. It's just gross. I mean, it's like they're all cribbing off the same notes. Oh, and then this slips out. It's amazing what they say when they don't know they're being recorded. Yeah, these are the ones that went. Curious that. And the fact that Putin could call them to Russia on the 4th of July. Right? Because they could almost you could argue that they would have gotten away with it, visiting him, making this trip, and having a meeting with no notes. It would have been noise that occurred in the general news coverage of it, but it would never have reached the wave crest like it did, based on the fact that they went on the 4th of July. They spent the 4th of July there, and then came back and started blaming the United States for everything. Not Trump, of course, the United States. Trump magic, Trump King Arthur, but America no good without king and land, right? Just stupid. So, you're going to see a bunch of them turn, by the way, the Republicans that have been loosely siding with Putin over this time because the money's drying up. So the Americana money is going to be back on the table if they decry him. And that's by the way, that's where Sean Hannity was trying to get Trump to go, and yesterday by getting him to call Putin evil, and he wouldn't do it yet because Deutsche Bank hasn't left Russia yet. Oh, and Jussie Smollett, look at that. 30 months probation, 150 days in Cook County Jail, and $25,000 fine. Good. Does anybody remember when that other story about Jussie Smollett ages ago? He had a DUI. I saw it come up again the other day, where he pretended to be his brother. Yeah, there you go. In 2007. Yeah, hold on. He got pulled over for drunk driving in LA. He signed his own brother's name on the report. Pleaded no contest, providing false information, driving under the influence, driving without a valid license. On Tuesday, the brothers who said, again, this is related to the other case. Somebody looked this up. And the fact that he was like he hired the Osundario brothers to do this, these two Nigerian dudes, and then after he got busted, decided to throw them under the bus. The fuck out of here. Yeah, he held his fist up on his way to jail and said, I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. Motherfucker, nobody thinks you're going to get snuffed in jail. Nobody cares. Like, arrogant bullshit. And I would argue, yes, what he did himself was a hate crime. Stochastic terrorism. I have no love. There's no love lost between me and the MAGA crowd. But making them arguably a target for violence by saying a couple of them beat you up and faking that whole thing is stochastic terrorism. It is making a group the possible target for violence. that is a hate crime. And then, like, arranging this whole fucking thing, and then throwing those guys under the bus. Like, they fucking did this. Maybe they really are MAGA support. Like, get out of here. Just gross. And then the arrogance of, like, this is the system. Fuck you. Just, like, shameful. You know how many people are going to go and try and tell their story if they're ever, like, bashed because of their race or their sexuality, and now everybody's got to go, all right, well, I'm listening, but back of my head, I'm like, last time we were sitting across somebody, you know, and yes, and Smollett will be in the Cush area of the county jail. You can, by the way, which he should well know from DUI, because and I know this because I have a couple of friends over the years, yet another reason why I don't drink, who got DUIs and one ended up having to suck start his car all the time with one of those, like, breathalyzer things, and the other one had to serve 3 days in jail for DUI. And he was like, every time he bitched at me, I was like, dude, if it was me, you'd get a year minimum, because you could have killed somebody. Knock it off. And anyways, in LA, you can pay for a jail upgrade. You can pay a fine and get upgraded to a better cell, and you go stay in, like, the Beverly Hills jail. I shit you not. For that kind of stuff. Now, largely they do that because they're making money off the fact that they don't have enough room in the jail, you know, in the most downtown jails. So what they do is, they used to just let people like that go. And now they found a way to make money off of them and keep them in jail. So on the one hand, you're like, why do rich people get to buy their way out of jail? They don't. They used to just be released because they had nowhere to put them. But now they can put them in jail and charge them extra money, and they actually do some time. Because if you've got 900 cells in your county jail and you've got 1,100 people vying for a bed, because human beings are always in a bum rush to fuck up their life, apparently. The ones with means, who you want their fine money, and you know they have arguably, quote unquote, more connections to the community, therefore they're not going to just run over somebody on their way out of town. Those folks, the judge makes the discretion. Well, a lot of times they used to, anyways, just go home. You'll pay a huge fine, but go home. Now they're like, pay less of a fine and go to another jail. We'll outsource you to another jail. And that's how LA does it anyways. In Florida, apparently, as we learned with the Jeffrey Epstein trial and all that stuff, they give you a key and let yourself out on the fucking weekends. I mean, honestly. The fuck? Jail upgrade, that's what they did in 16th century England. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's logical. I got news for you, kids. If any of you were the mayor, you'd do the same thing. Oh, we don't have room for them in LA County jail, but we can put them in another jail and they can pay to go to that other jail too. Cool. So they, instead of doing your 3 days and all the bureaucracy of rolling you through the downtown jail, they put you to there aren't private jails. There are other smaller jails around the city that don't hold as many people. Yeah, it's like the Otis drunk thing in Andy Griffith. Yes. Private prisons should be unprivatized. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that that we should have private prisons at all, because it allows us to kind of stiff arm the reality of imprisoning people. Right? Now, there's a lot of debate about, our prisons and how many people we have and stuff. And I don't buy the narrative that's been around for a long time that the U.S. is terrible because we have more people incarcerated than anywhere else. Fuck that. The reason we do is because our murderers that get 60 years live all 60 years. Fucking the Unabomber and Manson and all these fuckers died of old age. That's why we have so many people. Our jails are worldwide are a fucking humanitarian miracle, considering some of the people that are in them. No, and a private prison is not special treatment, a luxury prison. No, private prison is just a private run prison, run by a corporation, as opposed to a state run or federal prison. These cells that these people buy, they pay for to go to, are local jails. Beverly Hills Police Department has a jail, a holding cell, or 5 of them or whatever, and they're mostly empty because of the level of crime there. They don't need them. And if anything does happen there, the person is held in jail for a little while, transferred downtown, and then off to a prison until sentencing if the crime is serious enough. So if somebody is busted for drunk driving and they get 3 days, then the old thing would be they'd go downtown and for their court date, and the judge would be sitting there going, I can't put this person anywhere. I don't have a jail cell for them. And so what they allow is people with means to buy their way into a better jail under the fear that they're actually going to jail. And in reality, their time would get punted because there would never be a time when they could be reported to jail because there's no empty space for them. And they can go serve it someplace. So the judge would have to go, well, all right, you're on your own recognizance, $125,000 fine or whatever it is. Or even less than that. I think it was something like $30,000 fine or something. Which people fight and, they get half of, or it's silly. Anyways, so the judges, instead of just letting these people go, they started recognizing that there are empty jail cells in Van Nuys and in Santa Monica and in Beverly Hills and in Irvine and shit like that. So you can, they basically go, you can go to county, we'll process you, and we'll send you to the state penitentiary for 3 days because we have no room in the Cook County jail. Or you can pay an extra fine and serve your time in Beverly Hills or Santa Monica jail or those kind of over the weekend for 3 days, do your time, and then go back to fucking work. And it's a smart plan. Makes a ton of sense. Yeah, people show up just before midnight and get out just after midnight for because of overcrowding and get their credit. That's exactly right, Roy Batty. So to avoid that, it's like hospital beds. You find a hospital that's got open beds, and it may be in a ward that's more expensive or a hospital that's more expensive, so it costs you extra. That's it. Prisons are full of innocent people of color. Apparently, you have never been to a prison. Go watch Richard Pryor's bit about performing in a prison. No, they are not. There are definitely some innocent people in jail and in prison. Definitely. But they are not a statistically significant amount. Sorry. That cartoon that ship has sailed. Jails are the biggest mental institutions in America. That is arguably true. Because we do not have mental institutions, and a lot of these people don't get incarcerated in a mental institution where they wouldn't harm themselves or someone else earlier, so it waits until they end up killing someone or some massive crime that keeps them in forever. Now I stick with people that deal with this, not Richard Pryor. Sorry. Richard did. That's my point. I've been getting awful serious lately. I beg your pardon. This becomes a morning conversation. But yes, thanks Ronald Reagan for shutting down our mental institutions. Oh, the crypto executive order started. That's fun. Look at it. Look at them with their CoinDesk with their graphic. Long awaited first of its kind executive order on cryptocurrencies on Wednesday. Here's what you need to know. 6 key priorities for the administration: protecting U.S. consumers, protecting global financial stability, preventing illicit uses, which is 80% of crypto right now, and why it will never take off until that part is broomed, because everything that people like about crypto is everything that's awful about crypto, because it's used for drugs and human trafficking and murder for hire and shit like that. Promoting responsible innovation, financial inclusion, U.S. leadership. Executive order directs federal agencies to better communicate their work in the digital sector, but it doesn't lay out specific positions they want the agencies to adopt. That's because they have to review it because it's all new. Can we not pretend that people even understand this? This is like talking about credit default swaps in 2004. House Park. So am I spot on about who Tucker Carlson sounds like? Who does he sound like? I didn't see the top part of that. You have to attach those. Yeah, don't forget money laundering. Exactly. And buying fleshlights. I've heard. Is that the... Yeah, I would imagine there's a bunch of websites that like the top 10 consumer sites that take crypto are all like embarrassing purchases, right? I mean, I would guess that crypto is yet another way to buy stuff while hiding moral shame, whether it's deserved or not. In some cases, obviously, it's moral shame. You know, like drug and human trafficking, and murder for hire. And then there's other stuff like, things on the gray edge of moral arguments, things that are, let's just say, legal in some states, not in others, that kind of stuff, right? Because the executive order does not impose new regulations on the crypto sector, it has been seen as a positive for bulls. A Treasury Department statement about the order was accidentally published overnight. It helped contribute to a 10% jump in Bitcoin. Yeah, because they're not going to kill it. They're just trying to minimize. And by the way, minimizing the number of criminals using it over time will help it grow. Yeah. So prison and punishment really doesn't help anybody or anything? What? Are you insane? Oh, good Lord. Why is butts trending in political figures? Do I dare click on this? Oh. Okay, that can't be it. What? Newsy voice butts here, but why is this? What's happening? Why is it under politics? Oh. Is this Indian Twitter? Cigarette stubs are the most littered material in some serious initiatives seek to tackle the menace. Yeah. How about stop smoking initiatives entirely? You'll not only clean up the litter, but you'll get rid of all the dead people too. You won't have as many of those. Also, what's with the filters, you wussies? If you're gonna smoke, one of the worst things to ever happen to the planet as far as garbage was an attempt to save cigarette smokers from themselves by putting filters on the goddamn things. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good example of, a great conversation about good intentions being the road to hell being paved with good intentions. This would be it. Because what was the intention here? How do we keep smoking going, but stop the impact that it is having on our healthcare system? Right? What's the mitigatory step? Well, the mitigatory step in this case, eventually, you could say, made people more aware of their smoking because they would look at the brown end of that thing and it looked like a shit stain that they were sucking on. And that dissuaded some people from smoking, may have limited how, or probably lengthened the time it took for them to get cancer over time. But ultimately contributed to one of the biggest, most horrifying garbage problems the planet has ever faced. But what's this one? Okay. Oh, is this talking about the everybody poops is a fireable offense because of the new fucking books? An assistant principal read the children's book, I Need a New Butt, to second graders. He was fired. It's a funny, silly book. I'm a firm believer the kids see the book can be funny and silly. They'll hang around long enough to see other cool things the books can be. The kids thought it was hilarious, which of course they would. Showed lack of professionalism and impaired judgment because the topics described in this book were inappropriate. Butts are not conversations for talking. This is what happens. A child finds out they have a butt. Next thing you know, less than zero territory. I've always heard that too. That whole cigarettes are more addictive than heroin. Somebody just said that in the chat. Which, by the way, that statement, all it did was make people do more heroin. Because they were like, oh, shit, I know a guy who quit cigarettes cold turkey. I mean, I understand that it's hard, but whatever. Seriously. But they are. Butts are funny. Later, I believe I was pulled out of class because he had wanted to give me another book, this time being Nerds, Cheerleaders of Doom. It was signed by the author. Suddenly, I've lost track of where it is years ago. Where's that book? Fascinating. Can I just say, while we're on the weird topic of, I guess there's more of these. Kids need silly books. The world is a harsh place. Yes. The decision to read I Need a New Butt. Told the post you known price for years. Never gives up. Dedicated to a book of okay. That dude will have a soft landing. He'll probably end up working at a children's book company. It's just, ugh. Did anybody watch Mindhunter? Anybody seen Mindhunter? I enjoyed that show quite thoroughly. There's the story about the weird principal who's does nickels for tickles. He gives nickels to the kids, and if he lets them tickle their feet to see how long they do instead of punishments and all this kind of stuff, right? In that story, there's a lot of back and forth in that about, can they really tell if this guy is going to be a monster, or was he, and it was just a matter of time, or did they overreact and this poor guy lost his job? And it was interesting how they did it, because it wasn't like, he hugged them too long or something like that. It was very specific, the nickels for tickles. He gave them a nickel and let them tickle their feet and stuff like that. And the argument that if a woman did it, it probably never would have been a problem if she was a woman principal, those kind of stuff. It's a fascinating story, and it's apparently based on a true story. But again, yeah, you can watch the dividing line as the conversation goes, and you can watch your own mentality about it shift. And in the beginning, you're like, he does what? Fuck that. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe he's just dumb. Maybe he's just socially, like, he doesn't understand that that's a big. And then you're like, oh, he sure as shit did know. You can feel yourself, because of how the story is told and the information as it comes along in the story. You can vacillate in your opinion about it, and that's kind of that's great storytelling. And at the end, the woman's wife comes and confronts Holden at his apartment about what's happened since, right? And it's brutal, because she's heartbroken and her husband's suicidal and all this other stuff. And so you see the regret in this, but then you also know it wasn't his fault. You're also, because you like Holden as a character, his his recommendation, his concerns were legitimate. He didn't call for the guy's firing, and everybody was trying to find a way to broom this fucker for a long time because it made them feel uncomfortable. They just basically used Holden as the scapegoat for their reason, right? And so you get to like feel bad for the guy's wife and also for Holden in this situation, and recognize that this guy's refusal to back down on his behavior, which was, you know, if a parent thinks it's inappropriate for you to touch their kid in any way, you knock it off. End of story, right? But this is, we think this way now, but this is the fucking 70s and 80s when they're talking about this. Yeah, like, and again, hugging kids is not a problem. The world is not racked up with fucking pedophiles, and pedophiles don't get to define the behavior of everyone else. I mean, you could argue that some of our division as a society has come from the seeds planted by stranger danger in the early 90s. That it was such an effective campaign, and that combined with the timing of the AIDS crisis, and that you're not only sleeping with this person, you're sleeping with everyone they've ever slept with, right? That everybody, you know, became a fear point. Everyone became a possible typhoid Mary. So, all right, cool. TIT. I brought up their name over there, and I was a bit surprised. Yeah. Oh no, I can't stand TYT. No. I mean, between the fact that they've literally gotten people killed with their rhetoric, with their ongoing comfortable calls for violence, or their stochastic terrorism that they engage in non-fucking stop, I don't think they are good purveyors of progressive politics at all. You know, you almost couldn't look for a better, you know, sock puppet way of undermining the argument of community and connection and diversity and understanding than these assholes. So, and by the way, Anna Kasparian has hated me since I was at Politico a long time ago, like 2015, whatever that was, because I was talking to her and Liz Winstead, and we were chatting, whatever. And Liz Winstead said, well, we're all Bernie supporters. And I said, I'm actually backing Hillary. And Liz was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. All right. And Anna went fucking white as a sheet and basically accused me of being a warmonger, of wanting, like, you know, wanting the Afghan war to go on longer, wanting the Iraq war to go on longer, wanting us to like start a war with fucking Cuba or some shit. It was just so like off the rails. And I was like, no, I've heard her actually speak, and I've seen what her programs are, and I like the fact that, you know, her main project when she was first lady was trying to get health insurance for kids. I don't think she's a fucking monster. I don't buy the right-wing talking points about her. I understand why you are, because it helps your client, your candidate, I would say client, because they really were. I mean, for all this talk about Bernie not having a super PAC, what the fuck was TYT? Seriously. Anyways, you know, that's, yeah, they've been a real problem in terms of knowing when to speak respectfully about a situation they have no knowledge about, to the point of ratcheting up violence, and that's not cool. Yeah, then TYT took a big donation from the HRC PAC. Yeah, I know. And they're like, we got to stop these corporate donors behind the scenes. And then whatever, Jeffrey Katzenberg gives them like $10 million in seed money. They're actually partnered with YouTube right now, which is Google, which is a giant corporation that still does business in China, that kind of shit. Somehow, all of that true believer, you know, fervor just goes right out the fucking window. And it's nothing wrong with being corporate, but just don't lie and say, you know, like, I mean, over there, corporation, the word corporations it's a punching bag word. It's a pejorative. And you can believe that or not believe that because, I mean, I'm incorporate. Nerd Halen has to incorporate for our shows, right? All small businesses are incorporated. When you just say corporations, just what you mean is big corporations. The problem is the big corporations are the ones that do ads, so you just say corporations so you don't make them feel bad. It's fucking stupid. Anyways, and they're I mean, it's Division Incorporated. That's what they do. So anyway, so she was so livid that not because I'd said anything policy-wise that was fucked up. I didn't come out and say, I hope we don't have Medicare for all, like anything like that. I just literally thought that the incremental path towards a full functioning system where we did have single payer in the country would more than likely come over the ACA, adding a public option, and then the public option's popularity would grow and dwarf the private insurance companies that are here because you get better service and there's no profit motive in that particular situation. And those and then I was saying actually that states, and this is in the ACA, and this was what was being argued, which I thought was brilliant, that instead of you having the federal single payer system being your only option, that California could have a single payer system, and Washington State could have a single payer system. Massachusetts has a single payer system, and Maine could have one. And then, as a consumer, you could choose from multiple single payer systems, right? That don't have a profit margin except to benefit the citizens of that particular state. So everybody has a reason why they want to make money off of their single payer system, but largely to, for education bonds and for infrastructure, that kind of shit, right? Because that's where the direction of the ACA was going. And then they helped get Trump elected because if I can't have you, no one will. So no, I don't take them seriously, and I think they're engaged in stochastic terrorism a lot. And I think that's dangerous. And if you'll notice, money where your mouth is, I don't run ads on here myself. I don't have a company. I'm not telling you about some new fucking mobile game app that's the new rage and you get free points if you just use my code. Like, none of that shit. I'm not interested. I will live and die by your lovely contributions, and whatever stuff gets just kind of slapped on there, but it's not going to get my sign off necessarily. You have to take it as it is, as an advertisement if it shows up on YouTube or something like that. But it doesn't get my, my like official go ahead. So, that's one of the areas. And the other areas, I will not wish violence or illness or anything on my political opponents and my fellow Americans, period, end of story. I won't do it. You guys don't like it. And by the way, for the record, Sam Cedar was just selling CBD. Right. Fuck that. Guys, come on. It's hard for what? Sorry? It's hard for small providers to survive on our Washington State single payer systems reimbursement rates. I don't doubt it, Jana. That's why if, say, California had one, or you could buy across state lines into Massachusetts or something like that, then you would absolutely, it would give an impetus for a better quality of service in that state, right? Also, we have public schools and private schools. We have police, and you can hire a bodyguard if you fucking well want to. The same thing should be true of health insurance. You should be able to buy into, through your taxes or through a direct fund, your insurance from a government entity that pays out to your doctor, or get a private one, or a little bit of both. A lot of people who they send their kids to public school and then they get a math tutor if they need help or whatever. Same kind of thing. Both things being possible, would be lovely. Thanks, Katie. Why not just decommodify healthcare? Because you cannot force doctors and nurses and bioengineers and pharmacists and people to work for free because they dedicate their life to a job that they have to study a lot for. You can't try decommodifying the humans. You know how you do that? Well, you will commodify the humans in the process. You decommodify their work. That's slavery. I mean, if you want to federally set, if you want to raise the minimum wage, but set a maximum wage for healthcare providers, try to get that done. I wish I could get booked on Howard Stern. We'll see and we'll look into that. I think that's not an impossibility. So British doctors are slaves? No. But they have not decommodified it. It's very expensive and they get paid well. The government was built for the rich, not workers. What? No, it wasn't. Let's see. Oh. Our Trafalgar poll released a those Americans want to get oil to replace banned Russian oil. They want to get it from okay. That's funny. So this was I don't know what Hannity was trending, so this came up. The Trafalgar Group did a poll that Sean Hannity put up that said, where do people want to get oil from? U.S. oil producing states. Duh. Canada, 14.9%. Venezuela, 4.5%. Iran, 2.2%. And Saudi Arabia is behind Iran and Venezuela. That's not how you thought the poll was going to go, did it? Was it, Sean? Also, so fucking what? They're going to buy it from whoever is producing it the cheapest. That's where it's going to come from. That's why Shell was buying from Russia until they were told not to. Legally. It's so stupid. Oh, look who's on. What a surprise. Sean Hannity criticizes Vice President Kamala Harris for humiliating America during trip to Poland. Yes, I know. I was personally humiliated. By the way, why is Ducey grabbing Psaki? What a weird, I mean, that's a creepy picture that Hannity chose. That's on Hannity.com. EV dysfunction. I think that's supposed to be an erectile dysfunction, ED, EV joke. With that picture, fucking hell. Ugh. Yeah, and then the other thing is him refusing to, he tries to get Trump to call him evil and he can't do it. By the way, Trump will sit in a room with a bunch of podcasters at Mar-a-Lago, but he won't come on your show, Hannity? They won't set up a camera for him? No? You just got to call in on the phone? What kind of lazy bullshit is this? Zelensky is doing in-person interviews, and that motherfucker's in a war zone. You know, Trump's in his fucking basement going, anyways, I'm out of paper. I'm out of paper in here. Someone, just bring me a hand towel, and someone else will take care of it. I'm still here. Sean, are you still there? Good Lord. Fox News was going. Oh, this. Yeah, that was a couple days ago. That story. So it's starting to make it through the news cycles, and of course, Matt Cawthorn's not an outlier. I would argue that Cawthorn, Boebert, and MTG are basically going to get tattooed all over the Republican Party this year. Get used to it, and they're going to try and stiff arm them without stiff arming them, and it's not going to work. And this, the whole thing about him trying to get him to admit he's evil. Texas Supreme Court slams door in federal court lawsuit seeking to block the privately enforced abortion ban. Yeah, the law that allows like bounty hunters to do it. Again, but it now looks ineffective. I think it's going to end up in the Supreme Court. Aimed at privately enforced anti-abortion statute. Again, one would think that the automatic sort of guilty until proven innocent part of it should get thrown out. The whole like $10,000 if you don't come and fight this thing. Like somebody can just snitch on you. And by the way, the idea that, you know, the entire Republican Party is like cool with like, yeah, just like we'll just hunt down people you don't even have to be in Texas. That people in California can start reporting Texans for allegedly helping an abortion, being around it, being downwind, being at the subway next door while it happens. And that they don't expect that to blow back in their face. And if you don't show up or you refuse to show up, yeah, your automatic $10,000 fine. Yes, Douglas Adams' birthday would have been today. He would have been 70. Died too young. This was, by the way, my tweet's one of the first that came up. That's nice. I love Douglas Adams. I have a well-leafed copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that I got when I was 12. Just so great. And, you know, he was originally Graham Chapman's writing partner for Monty Python, for the Monty Python fans out there. And Graham Chapman ended up writing with John Cleese a lot. They wrote a lot of stuff together on Monty Python because they were like little teams. And Cleese was like, he wanted to write with Graham for stuff that included Michael Palin. Like he viewed Michael Palin as the funniest guy in Python. And I agree. Alfred Sparkselbrot for Galactic President. Hey, I'm a fruit who really knows where his towel is. 42, right? That's my Masonic Lodge number for real. Anyways, Douglas Adams used to write with Graham in school and then privately afterwards for like the BBC and stuff. And the things he would write were just too long for Python. Everything was, he had a tendency to write things that were like 10, 15 pages, right? And that's never going to make it onto especially as like hypercut as the original Pythons were. By the way, that shows, go watch the first Monty Pythons and then tell me about, short attention spans were the reason we had the media we had in the 80s. Silly. Anyways, I could be press secretary if Jen is tired of dealing with Ducey. I could do that. Yeah. If she needs a break, I'd be glad to handle it. It'd be sort of a verbal John Wicking. Verbal. Anyways, so he and Graham wrote together, and eventually they just had to come to the determination he needed to go do something else because he was not going to be able to write on there. But so Graham jumped ship and worked with him, and everybody was encouraging him. He was in the room for some of the beginning of Python, but they were like encouraging him to go write something big for the BBC, and everybody liked his stuff, so he got something, and it was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio show for BBC One, for BBC Radio. He wrote it as a radio show, then it became a television show and a book. And the book is, the interesting thing is one of the few things where the book came after and yet is as much a literary revelation as anything else. I'm a Libra. But anyways, And everybody comes to Douglas Adams' grave, and they leave pens, and sometimes towels, and the number 42, because he will be forever 42. Reality is frequently inaccurate, Douglas Adams. Just so many great quotes, and that's the cover. This is the cover I had. I'll go dig it up because it's I don't even have to dig it up. It's upstairs somewhere, on a shelf. This is the one I have. This is the copy that I have, that I got at a used bookstore. when I was a kid because I loved the title. And by the way, could The Hitchhiker's Guide as the beginning of something be any more 70s? Yeah. Yeah, there goes Doug. 2001, man. And Missouri. Same thing we saw before. And then Butts is still at the top. Good stuff. Reload it and see what comes in. Uh-oh. Earthquake. California. Oh, Berkeley. 2.8. 2.8. Get out of here. 2.8. Yeah, I used to call anything under a 5 is a snooze button. Whoa, felt the earthquake in the West Bay. Magnitude 3.4, intensity 2 at 1 o'clock in the morning. Man, when the earth cools off, it starts wiggling. Near El Cerrito. Strong enough to jostle Newsom out of his chair at the mansion and into his favorite booth. The French. I see this. Like people just smashing on him. Right. Yeah, I don't. 90% of the world's earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire, an area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean. Yep, this area. Where the world is pushing apart and squishing it together. Eventually, it'll all kind of slam together on the other side.
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
No, thank you. Sometimes Siri just needs to talk. Just in longest staircase in history located in Venice, Italy, has collapsed. 2 injuries reported because of an earthquake. When is that? March 7th. Oh, dear. So there's just been a couple of them. There's, earthquakes and rumors of earthquakes. And just more proof that this is the end time. Motorcycles and lines of motorcycles. And so important, to recognize. Good Lord. Since the past month, earthquake in Indonesia, Manufactured ID has been providing support for victims, including hundreds of meals. Look at these guys. Okay, but can I just say something? Look at these people, and then think about the trucker convoy for a second. Yeah, Bo the Fifth Column's a good dude. That was Siri. Hey, Siri, tell me a joke.
Sorry, I'm late, said the broom. I overswept.
I said tell me a joke, but that'll pass, I guess. Yeah, so that was Siri. Look at these guys. Look what they're doing. They're bringing in humanitarian aid on that road with motorcycles and scooters. A lot of these are just scooters. That thing in the front, that's not a crotch rocket. That's a fucking scooter. Look at the wheel. They're loading up goods on these things, putting them in these packs, or bringing aid workers up on the backs of them and bringing stuff in. Look at this fucking mud, man. Meanwhile, I saw pictures earlier today of the Freedom Convoy, and I would like to show you the struggles besides somebody that yelled Ted Cruz sucks or whatever. Where was this lady? There was there's Ricky Schroeder. All this nonsense. Yeah, there's people. Good Lord. Yeah, there they are. So this is them all gathered in this fucking parking lot. Like it's just like a rendezvous, man. It's just that like people got nothing to do. Nothing to do. Except, I guess, burn money. Because this one guy was like, I'm losing like $50,000 in contracts just this weekend with my truck sitting idle. I'm sorry, I thought this was Joe Biden's economy and there was no work to be had. You're passing up money to not work? Aren't these assholes the ones who are like, the government paying me people not to work? Meanwhile, I will work for Donald Trump for free, just gacking up a fucking fairgrounds parking lot. Ugh, God, just a waste of time. Drill, baby, drill. Oh no. What? This is the problem with that. Oh, here. Oh, do we have another Rick? We want freedom. Oh no, this is the one he was like, yeah, he's fucking. There they are. You guys are amazing. I swear to God, this looks like the worst reboot of Smokey and the Bandit I have ever seen. Oh, and the Confederate flags that are flying up there amongst all the other Trump flags. Look at this asshole with all these things. How's that empty moving truck not going to fall over? Look at this ambulance pulling a Trump unity. Trump unity? Trump unity, build the wall. Making America great over and over. Magoo! Shit. Dude, move. The Confederate flag is right over Trump. You're fucking with our whole narrative. Yeah, because that ambulance could not be put to better use. Oh, and this is the People's Convoy doing laps in one lane. Seriously. What are you doing? That's amazing. Fucking do you have horses in there? Have they been fucking around with these horses? Like, are they just dragging horses around in a circle? What kind of an asshole? It's just a truck trying to get off at the next exit. And somebody was saying, there's birds are flying everywhere. And how do you know if you're being trolled with this fucking thing? Freedom. We want our freedom. Oil prices are too high. That's why we're just burning it for no fucking reason. Jesus Christ. What? Guys, leave your trailers. We can fit more vehicles if you leave your trailers. Well, it's not a trucker convoy without the fucking trailers. Well, you can't bring trailers into D.C. because they'll pull you over and they want to look inside. From Rage Against the Vaccine. They roll out early each day. They parade around the Capitol Beltway, I-495, that surrounds Jericho. Fucking Jericho. Washington, D.C. Honk, honk, honk. The Lord played their trumpets just honk, honk, and the walls came tumbling down, and the walls came tumbling down, and the wall came tumbling down. Oh, God. Truck. Don't let the war propaganda overshadow the freedom convoy. The truckers are doing more to fight for you than anyone in government. Well, no, I mean, even the people just marginally keeping government functional allows my rights and the rights of everyone else's to go on unabridged every fucking day. The FAA just existing will do more than the freedom convoy could ever do. So, and by the way, like finding a road you want to drive around in a circle on, the beltway around, I think they just want to say they were on the beltway. We're not in the beltway or outside the beltway. We're on the beltway. Eastbound and down, hooded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say sure is dumb. We got a long way to go and nothing to do when we get there. Round and round, just watch old dumb ass run. Well, diesel is on the rise. I'm burning it for no reason. I got nothing shipped because Christmas is the season. We're a bunch of aimless truckers driving around like blinded fuckers. And we're gonna keep us up even though we're dumb. Just driving around like a bunch of dumbasses. Let me tell you how rough we have it in Canada. Totally. Jesus, these people. Freedom Convoy in Canada continues into Quebec. You guys need a fucking hobby. What is this? Hold on, what's that? I can't read the top of her sign, whatever called. Ableism, I see, is discrimination. It can cause people to prioritize health, safety, independence of non-disabled people at the expense of those with disability. Our lives matter. Rheumatoid arthritis. Patient advocates Eileen Davis chairs which she's unheard aloud while attending a counter protest. Oh, okay, yeah. So she's worried about these people because she can't get the vaccine, and these morons are like, well, you can't make an omelet without breaking some people who are really already broken. Do they deserve to live? I don't know. The initial $10 million GoFundMe for Freedom Convoy had 86% Canadian donors. Final numbers for Give Send Go, 60% Canadian. This is a Canadian movement. Yeah, as it goes on, it's going to be like 10%, 5%. Yeah, here's an actual Freedom Convoy. Truckers bringing aid from Romania to Ukraine. Exactly. You know, there were just like tornadoes in the Midwest. Iowa has a lot of damage. They could be bringing shit down there. Good Lord. Abuses power by using emergency acts to shut down. What? Oh, Trudeau abused his power. Fuck you. Go run for office in Canada. You were born there. To American parents, he could run for president. I'm not creating any kind of conspiracy theory. It's just a material fact. Mandate freedom. Well, then it wouldn't be freedom. Just saying, if you mandate freedom, then it's not freedom. It'd be categorical. It'd be legally imposed anarchy, I think. Technically, is that how you would do it? Number of people with the mindset that why should I care if the sick get sicker people is alarming. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them also, deal with issues like this, never thinking they're actually going to have an impact on them. And a lot of those people, when you bring that up, will immediately go to, like, it's not even real. That's not even what's killing them. These people just got a cold. They were going to die of the flu. Did you get a flu shot so you don't spread the flu? Or do you cover your nose and mouth when you have the flu? And if you got the sniffles so you don't pass it to somebody who might? No, I don't do that. Why would I? Enforce freedom. Yes. Thank you, truckers. Freedom pour nous enfants tabarnak. For the children, something. I guess. They will be required to leave Ottawa within 24 hours to be out of Ontario within 72 hours. Yeah, because it's not a protest, it's a blockade. You can't blockade shit. Sorry. Hey, there's a... Germany has arrived. Massive medical supplies. CBC retracts another Freedom Convoy story. Dear God, the Toronto Sun, tell us the truth. What happened? CBC was incorrectly said GoFundMe ended a fundraiser for the protesters over questionable donations to the group. Oh, because the government ended it because of questionable funding to the group. They left the part out where the government did it because of questionable funding to the group. You mean Russian funding? Don't worry, it all dried up. Channel 5 YouTube video about America's copycat freedom. Oh, right.
Has always made Putin to look like the bad guy, but he's a good guy. He's taken out all the biolabs, child trafficking areas, adrenochrome harvesting areas. If people would have watched...
Wow, the adrenochrome harvesting areas. This dude's straight up Q. And the shifty eye is a nice touch.
When Trump came into office right at the beginning, when you saw them hand that soccer ball off, that soccer ball had so much information in it to take down.
Oh my God.
Everybody that Putin's been getting all the intel on for years. It had a lot of data in it. And that's what's going on.
And now it seems that people...
And, oh, fucking hell. Yeah, all right. I'm convinced. I'm just sad I missed out on all that early Q money. I'm here for freedom. Derp, derp. I love how they got a drone over these fucking parked vehicles to make it look like they're driving. Yeah, they just parked at a big state fair campground area. And Fox hates the freedom. Oh, right. This is the one where they took the protesting video from Black Lives Matter and other stuff, and then they put this out. They put the
How do you have time to protest? I would never protest.
These protesters, they're going to, act out and have their temper tantrums because that's what they do. The rest of us have to work.
We go to work. We don't have time to be protesting. We got jobs to do.
That's what working people do. They work.
Most Americans get up every day, go to work, obey the law.
These protesters who hold up traffic or cause a lot of additional taxpayer dollars to go toward law enforcement, they should be on the hook to pay for that instead of hardworking taxpayers.
Blocking traffic of law-abiding, productive citizens just trying to actually support their families.
These are people who've never created anything, never done anything. They seem like the most helpless and least impressive people in our society.
Those images you see on this TV, every American should ask themselves, who do you want to govern and run this country? Everyday hardworking citizens or protesters that are out in the streets?
How do you have...
Right. They walked into that rake. Magoo. I know, even the holding up traffic part is just kind of perfect. And I think that related probably to one of the dudes who drove through a bunch of protesters and hit a couple. Remember that? Remember that story? Or two or three of them? They arrived in Maryland with clam chowder. How much beer are we talking about? Oh, about 400 cases. 400 cases. Now you're getting all the way to Denver and back with 400 cases of beer. That's not a problem. But bringing Coors beer east of the Mississippi, that's bootlegging. Why you want all that beer anyways? Because he's thirsty. Dummy. Hold on. I feel like I have to
barbecue you. I gotta barbecue your ass in molasses.
Why don't you just... That's great psychology. Why don't you just say something bad about my mother?
Like to kick his ass just once. Yeah, that's... you're in trouble when this is the primary story, guys. This is it. Nobody knows what the fuck they're bitching about. It's turned into a big Q loop. What's the current Q theory? The current Q theory is that Vladimir Putin is now the hero of the story, and that he was working with Trump to get rid of human trafficking, child trafficking, adrenochrome processing facilities. Which I don't know why he would feel the need to do that. Because I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Hold on. Let's see if this will open up. Yeah, adrenochrome, also known as norepinephrine, alternate names 3-hydroxy-1-methyl-5,6 indolindione 2,3-dihydro, beg your pardon, hydroxy 1-methyl 1H indoldione. Adrenochrome is an inhibitor of catechol-O-methyltransferase, of course. I mean, who doesn't know that? And let's see, product reviews. There's the. I mean, I'm surprised that Q people don't look for this tattoo under people's hair. It's Degeneron, right? And you can order it. 25 milligrams of it is $63. Or apparently you could set up a secret lab in Ukraine and bleed children out, apparently. Whatever. Whatever. For research use only, not intended for diagnostic or therapeutic use. Yeah, follow the instructions on the bottle. Also, it's available in Santa Cruz Biotechnology. Yeah, it's Nora. Yeah, Nora Phenephrine. She was great. She's one of my favorite writers. Apparently, she was on adrenochrome the entire time she was writing You've Got Mail. You may also like these molecules. I love that. Look at this. Chemical companies are using the same system as Amazon. We noticed you like this. Have you thought about buying any U0521? I'm good. I've got enough, I think, for a while. I want to finish the bottle I have. Amazing product. Works, thank you. Just terrific. I bought it a couple of months ago, and I'm so happy that I did. Thanks. That seems fucking legit. Adrenochrome supplier. Iobius. There we go. $15 per milligram. While I would much rather go to the other place, they have fine quality items at a reasonable price. I'm so lucky, and thank you very much. Goodbye. I am a meat popsicle. If you buy 100 milligrams or units, it's $6.75. So you're talking about $6.75. So $6.75 for the final price. I mean, if you buy it in bulk, they'll cut you a deal. You know what I mean? Because then they can use up the whole kid. Fucking hell, these assholes. Oh, God. So, yeah, they believe that Putin is stopping the adrenochrome, Hollywood elite blood-drinking Pizzagate people. Because he's a good guy. He's always been a good guy. He's always been misunderstood. He's lovely. And his recent speeches are all full of codes. But they're in Russian, so nobody can figure them out. Hagerstown. Hey, in all deference to these folks, if you're not coordinated enough to ride a motorcycle, what Sturgis do you have? This is like Durgis. Amazing. So many people, and yet... Right, so this is and this is the Truckers for Freedom meeting with senators. Did they have the where's the dude at the end?
Action by our administration is how we get those things met.
Oh, right. So this is the last guy who spoke, I think, where they were like, I gotta go.
Talk all day you want and have dog and pony shows with all these different politicians. That doesn't get you anywhere. Action on the Senate, action on the floor, action at the state levels, action by our administration is how we get those things met. Having meetings doesn't solve it.
They want their freedom back.
Yeah, look, the result is they want government to leave them the hell alone. They want the mandates ended and the emergency ended. That's what they're demanding, and the meetings are how they get it.
Dr. Alexander, let me deal with it scientifically for him. This has been
talk all day you want.
Yeah, we need some action on the administration. We need some people up here carrying the Confederate flag through the halls of Congress again. We need to end the things that are already over now. And by the way, there is no vaccine mandate for that any of these guys would experience. Even New York's is over. The fuck are they talking about? And if you're going into Canada, there's nothing the U.S. can do about that. That is Canada's choice. They elected people, and the will of the voters is that those people make these kind of decisions in these circumstances. And if the next time we go through a pandemic, Or the next time you have a vote, you're like, if we have another pandemic, who do I want in charge? I want people who won't give a shit and will just keep us all out coughing on each other. I'll vote for this person. Knock yourself out. You have representation. You don't get to supersede in between in these major ways on stuff that was voted for and passed legally. This is goofy. And they're just blocking roads. Raised over 1.5 million, and this is them passing through. Yeah, they raised 10 million, and then everybody's like, where the fuck did this money go? Senator Cruz has joined the People's Convoy. He's riding in the lead truck. What a douchebag. Hi. Hello. I'm in a big truck. I'm an elephant rider. Sorry. Canadians for Freedom gathered outside the Innis jail in Ottawa to show their support for the released convoy organizer Tamara Lake today. Oh, she was released? They want freedom for somebody who's free? Parody take of adrenochrome. Maybe you can post haste. That's a good idea. Let me ruminate on that as a gag. I like it. He's saluting them. I'm saluting the trucks because I'm against the mandates. Standing here in my fireman pants. Welcome to the... Hey, boys, come on now.
Look at this.
That's beautiful, man. That is the sound of America.
This is the welcome we're getting.
Never mind the fact that due to the timing, I'm more than likely literally burning Russian oil in my engine right now. That's a train horn.
Check this out. This is the welcome we're getting.
This is great, man. This is the welcome we're getting. This is the greatest parking lot I've ever been in. And then we repeat. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. This is something good for Twitter people to see as well, like how much repetition shows up in the timeline when people retweet stuff. Oh, good Lord. What's she doing? Pre-con reports started showing disinformation about Russia and Ukraine with their tens of thousands of followers. Here's the full story. Bites out. Okay, about Putin. He's the misunderstood. I want to hear about my fight for personal freedom for Canadians everywhere. All Canadians throughout America. Meanwhile, Jesus. Now, I know that was a truck air horn, but it sounded like a train was my point. It's a male bonding ritual? The hell it is. You see, there's a ton of women there. Yeah, like I said, meanwhile, these guys... You will never see any of the Freedom Convoy people doing anything even close to that. And I hope they prove me wrong. Okay, and then Michael Flynn pled the fifth. And then endorsed Kari Lake. That's what you do. Kari Lake, the choice of people who plead the fifth under oath. Because that's what innocent people do, who have nothing but the truth. Yeah, why he still has his military pension is weird, but there you go. And again, considering the amount of service people put in the military and what people in the military go through, I imagine it should be difficult to remove their pension. It should take work. It shouldn't be a light switch. That would suck. Uh-oh. What'd Joe do? Oh, it's Seth Rogen. Okay. Spotify denies losing 1.5 million followers to Joe Rogan controversy. Meanwhile, their stock just hit another 52-week low. Trump plus Rogan equals liberals' heads exploding. Why? I got news for you, dude. There are lots of tables in this country with two ignorant assholes on either side yammering. that HAL post clips of Lindell campaigning for Kerry Lake. No, we didn't do that. The whole where he's standing up there. We're gonna do the. We're doing the thing. This is for our country. That business, Jesus. I want to see Trump on Joe Rogan next. Yeah, he's got to go to Texas for that to happen. That's hilarious. Breaking leaked images of Trump on Rogan. Rogan said multiple times he doesn't want him on, so I highly doubt it. Yeah. Did they? Was it the masks? Oh, this is
very interesting guy that people like listening to. But, you know, they've been hitting him very hard. I did tell him one thing: stop apologizing. Stop apologizing.
What was his reaction to that when you told him?
I don't know, because I got the word. I put the word out.
Did he ever reach out to you about going on?
I told him personally, you know, by saying it into the sky, that when a tape comes out of you repeatedly using the N-word, don't apologize. I told him that. How'd you do it? I went, tell Rogan not to apologize. And someone was supposed to write it down and send it to him, and I'm just waiting. Fucking hell. He's helicoptering in. Mike Pillow is helicoptering in pillows to the Canadian truckers so they can, you know, for work.
I don't know. I'd have to ask my people. You know, I have a lot of people.
No, because I thought I saw back in, I think during the debate times, you said that he should moderate a debate.
Yeah, he'd be much better. Well, he's much more talented than Chris Wallace.
That'd be great.
No, he's a much more talented person than just about all of these moderators.
Joe Rogan should moderate an
no, I said let Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's not a racist.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan's not a racist.
No.
Okay, and he's a very interesting guy that people like.
He's very interesting. He's not a racist. And you know how you can tell a racist? Because a racist will apologize when they say racial epithets. Somebody who's not a racist doesn't have to do this. Yeah, YouTube took this video down while I was doing commentary on it. It literally just cut it off. I sort of wonder if my video will stay up, even though I was doing commentary on it. And I guess they put it back up on there. I mean, I'm sure it's floating on a ton of different accounts, but they took it off the main one because they're not going to make money off of it. That's the other thing too. It's like it isn't that YouTube really removes stuff because there's so much shit out there. You can find it again and again. They remove it from being able to make money off the primary channels. Jimmy Dore is better than Rogan. Faint praise. Faint praise. Ethan Klein when he saw Mr. Beast on the Joe Rogan. Wow. I love the navel gazing shit on about YouTubers and Twitchers about the infighting between them. It's one of my favorite things not to give a fuck about. Yeah, Pacman's on earlier in the day, so he got to do the whole thing. They literally scooped it off during my show. Trump interview that YouTube, okay, you're welcome. Yeah, and then it's on Rumble. We can do the tail end of it if we want to, but I noticed Facebook is promoting him, UFC stories and goody two shoes. What? Joe Rogan blasted the misinformation coming out of Ukraine. Posed an interesting question. Watch a wokeness murdered comedy. No, sometimes you're just not funny. Again, maybe it's not the joke. And maybe it's not that you can't joke about certain things. Maybe it's your joke. Maybe your joke isn't any good. Maybe it, A, isn't something the audience can relate to as much as you think. And it's not crafted well enough to get past their own internal censor to allow them to laugh at it. Because that's part of the job too. Yeah. Yeah, that's the. What's this? Hannity asked Trump, but okay, we have to do this one later on. I don't want to look at it. We'll do it later on today. Because I'll start doing my show, my afternoon show live, and it's 11 o'clock already my time. So it's time for me to sign off, as it were. One last, Buckingham Palace. We fought a war with these people, so I don't have to care what goes on with royals. I'm not going to do it. Psst, no. Colin Powell, are we doing the yellow cake conversation? DuckDuckGo has decided to censor some of the Russian stuff coming out because they isolated their internet, or planning to, and so screw them. On Rohan. I was on Rogan a long time ago. I doubt I will be again. So what is this? Are we going to get into a yellow cake conversation? Yeah, exactly. Lavrov pulls a Colin Powell. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, dude, we already know how this bullshit works. We didn't fall for it in our fucking country. Russian foreman is shaking a vial in our face while displaying pictures of Colin Powell. Only this time it will be true, right? Did the U.S. really just trot out a black... trot out? She's our UN representative, you cretin. Now, Ukraine does not have a biological weapons program. No, it does not. Honestly. Unless, and again, and this is a question for you guys, is having a program that deals with the possibility of a biological weapon or a chemical attack, does that count as a biological weapons program? I don't think so. That, in my opinion. Anyways. Okay, gotta go watch the edge. Indeed. Thanks, Annie. Yeah, I'm going to sign off and let you guys go. I will see you in this afternoon show. We're just, it's the morning show. We're hanging out. It's a hang. All's well. But again, we didn't buy, I protested against the Iraq War. So did a lot of my friends. We had huge protests in this country about it for good reason. And I didn't buy that shit. It's become a meme. It's become a fucking joke. And I'm not going to buy it when another country tries to do it. If I didn't buy it when my own country did it, get the fuck out of here. Now, I always thought it was an Irish goodbye. Now I realize everybody's mom did it. We call it a Midwestern goodbye. Yeah. Anyways, all right. I'll let you guys go. Fine. I think this one's better. Hold on. That's a little better. Let's just get on with our day. I gotta go do some running around, and then I'm hoping that CSL and I can have coffee later. That would be lovely. But my girlfriend has me running errands, so I'm going to try. We're going to try and make that happen today. I insist. If we do, we'll take a picture together. Post it if we have to. Needless to say, we'll see you guys this afternoon for the regular show, and then tomorrow for the radio show, HAL, SPARKS, MEGAWORLDWIDE, in the afternoons, and then radio program MEGAWORLDWIDE on Saturdays. And then Sunday, I normally don't have a show on Sunday anyways, but I'll be traveling that day, and then we should be doing the rest of the shows next week from Kentucky, largely. There you go. So peace and be wild. Don't forget, with this crazy world around you, that every generation that's ever lived before you, at some point or another, has come up against this, wagging of mortality around the earth, and it made its way to their eardrums and to their eye holes over time, and they reacted to it the same way you did. So you just gotta stick to your ethics and your morals and keep marching forward and trying to do the best for anybody you come in contact with. Always, treat people you meet like a campsite. Leave them better than you found them. That's what I would say. Other than that, I have no opinion. Thank you for joining. Thanks for supporting the show. Thank you, Philip. I posted Philip's YouTube channel, by the way, on my Twitter feed if you want to check it out. He's posting videos from Ukraine right now, and we will continue to push those out. He's in Lviv, had technical problems today, so no vlog, but I'll call it excellent. Yeah, please call in tomorrow for the radio show. Thanks so much. And Sky Blue, thank you so much. And Sandy, oh my gosh. Can you get the pics outside the last show in Michigan? Yes, I think we have those. Yeah. And thanks to all the new subscribers, by the way. No, thanks for helping us clear 30K and set us on a rocket towards 50K. Fingers crossed. One of these days, it's gonna be all right. We're gonna make it now, all right. And I will see you guys this afternoon. Okay.
Here I am like an idiot. Moon River.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours?
Yours. Damn.
That was really cool, by the way.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
Lady, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store.
Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Groovy.
Beef jerky?
Oh, no, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
God. Sorry. I farted.
Take off, eh?
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Wah, wah, wee, wah.
Leon's getting larger.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
I'm just a happy camper.
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
Listen, Betty, don't start up with your white zone shit again.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Guy talk!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule.
Attention, you are now entering the debarkation area. No talking, no smoking.
Boateng. Boateng.
I think you're some kind of deviated prevert.
Boateng.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Boateng.
To be a moron.
Boateng.
To be moronical.
Boateng.
An imbecile. Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Boateng.
Bring out your dead!
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Hey, I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
Boateng.
Did you have a shade?